Aloha and welcome. The Golden West chapter's Essey Commitment to Cures Award is named after one of our chapter's co-founders, Dick Essey, and presented annually to people and companies who champion drug discovery and development in the relentless pursuit of treatments and cures for people with ALS and related diseases. From the company's many employees to its co-founders, Amylyx consists of individuals who've displayed a deep commitment and concern for people who are living with ALS and their families. Over the past couple of years, some of you may have been tracking Amylyx's collaborative and urgent efforts alongside ALS advocates, organizations including the Golden West chapter and the US government to make the company's drug AMX 35 available to people living with ALS as soon as possible. I'm pleased to be sitting in the virtual company of two extraordinary individuals, Josh Cohen and Justin Klee, co-founders and co-CEOs of Amylyx Pharmaceuticals. Josh and Justin, congratulations, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. And thanks so much for having us.
What is AMX 35? What's it made of? How does it work?
The drug is designed to slow neuronal death. And the way it's intended to do that is by targeting pathways in both the energy production centers of the cell and the protein processing centers of the cell, both of which, if they go awry, can lead a cell to undergo death. And so the idea is if you can keep cells alive and functioning longer, you may be able to slow progression.
Yours is an incredible story of vision, intelligence, persistence, passion. Can you share the story of how Amylyx and AMX 35 got started?
Josh and I started Amylyx as undergraduates, and we thought we had a different way of looking at neurodegenerative diseases as a whole. And what we wanted to focus on is underlying not just ALS, but Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and many other diseases. The fundamental cause is that the nervous system breaks down and the nerve cells die. And we don't entirely know why. What we do know is that this happens and is what causes motor dysfunction in ALS. And so Josh and I reasoned that, well, maybe if we could intervene in those pathways that lead to the death of the neuron, the actual neuronal death pathways themselves, then maybe we could have a treatment that would work. So at the time, we had no degrees, we had no lab, we had no funding. Fortunately, along the way, we had so many people who gave their time, their counsel, and helped us understand what it meant to develop a treatment, starting with the founding chair of our scientific advisory board, Dr. Rudy Tanzi, who then introduced us to Dr. Merit Sakovich at Mass General. And together, we actually got support from the ALS Association and ALS Finding a Cure to take this forward into a clinical trial that eventually became the Centaur clinical trial.
And earlier this year, you submitted to health authorities in the European Union and then in Canada in the interest of bringing AMX 35 to market as soon as possible. Can you give us the latest news regarding what's happening in terms of the US market?
We submitted our new drug application, our NDA, to the FDA, which is the document that, fingers crossed, they will review to consider approval of the treatment. Our NDA, which by NDA standards is on the smaller side, is still over 100,000 pages. What it could mean is that in 2022, we could have an approval, which means that we have to get ready now, and we don't want to waste a second. As soon as it can be available, we're going to work around the clock to make sure that we can get it to people.
You made another exciting announcement about your phase 3 Phoenix study. Bring us up to speed.
So we dosed the first participants in the Phoenix study. So the Phoenix study is a kind of multinational study. So it's in the US and in many countries in Europe. And the idea is to continue learning about the drug, to continue learning in a, kind of over a longer period of time and in a broader broader inclusion group. The other thing we're excited about is it, provides another avenue, an option, for patients in the meantime, while, the drug is going through the different regulatory processes.
So the Golden West chapter, we're going to identify and serve about 40 new people each month who have received a positive diagnosis of ALS. So we've got the largest number of newly diagnosed patients in the country. We've got the largest number of research clinic partners. We're keenly aware of our role and responsibility in connecting the patient community to the companies and clinics conducting clinical trials. So how would you describe the importance of that collaboration?
We all need to work together to make sure that anyone who can benefit can get access. There's so many problems in ALS that, in our opinion, have just been unaddressed for far too long. And the way that we're going to address them is through collaboration. So we're thrilled to get to be a part of that collaboration, and we're going to keep pushing until we cure this thing. The way that people learn about what the community needs, what people with ALS need, what their families need, is through advocacy. The voice of the patient should be at every single table, no matter what.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience as you accept this award?
I think I just say thank you. And it was, people who took a chance on us and who took us under their wing and educated us that made the whole process possible. And, particularly highlighting, the ALS Association and the ALS Finding a Cure Foundation, who, gave us a grant very early in development that was instrumental.
Josh and I cannot say enough how honored we are by this award and how honored we are to get to be a part of this community. We plan to be here until we cure ALS in partnership with the chapter and with the whole community. So thank you so much for your support, and we can't wait for what's next.